Okay, let's call to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call
Chairman Bordenaro,
here.
Mr. Fernandez,
Here.
Mr. Grady,
On mute, Tim.
Here.
Mr. Holmes,
Here.
Mr. Millard,
Here.
Mr. Paradis.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve all the prior meeting minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? I do have a correction, Kevin.
Okay,
On the March 28, 2023 regular budget meeting, the Board of Education budget should be 50 million, not 55 million. Item 2.
all right, we'll correct that.
Okay. The other question I have, Kevin, is some of the supporting documentation during the budget process, where do those end up? You know, like, for example, Arosh presented 3 options for the VNA. Where does that sheet end up going? Is it get deposited somewhere for our future availability?
I mean, we have it locally. I don't know if you wanted it included. We certainly
No, I
don't
guess
get rid of
for
it.
that particular one, can you send it to the team? You know,
Sure.
okay, all right. Other than that, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, so move. New business, we have a motion on item 1.
I make a motion to transfer $297,500 as detailed in the accompanying spreadsheet to cover higher than budgeted expenditures in the identified accounts.
Is there a second
Second.
discussion? Kevin, the only question I have is, what was the original value of the fire alarm update?
We had originally put 450,000 total between the 2 schools,
Okay,
and they determined that Willard will be more expensive just based on size.
okay. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. The next item is really to discuss, we've been talking about getting some kind of reporting from the BNA. So, you know, I would like for us, I don't know whether we come up with something or we sit with the VNA director and Kevin and Arosh to come up with, you know, a report that we all could use. I suggest at least a quarterly report. And that quarterly report would be reviewed, you know, in the first meeting following the quarter. So say January through March, we would have a April VNA report that we can go in our April meeting. Any other comments with respect to coming up with a report and the detail to it?
Sal, I'd like to suggest that we appoint 2 members to get together with the finance director and the director to put together the reporting format and the metrics, because if we do this on our own, we may be asking for things that they don't even collect the data for. So I'm thinking if we have 2 members, maybe, you know, who can sit down and take a little time and come up with, you know, take the input that we can still get and have gotten from our own members, and sit down and do something. I think we could get more out of it than us just throwing out, let's collect this and let's collect that. That would be my suggestion.
No, that was my initial thought process, Jerry. So I'm for that, that we collaborate to make sure that we got a tool that works for all of us, for them and us.
And I would volunteer for that.
Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to work with Jerry on this?
I'll work with Jerry on it, so
Okay. Okay.
that's okay with everybody.
Yep.
Absolutely.
As long as it's not me. I'm for all of you.
Okay, so why don't we have Jerry and George follow up with whoever they need to come up with something that we could all use. Okay. Do you want to put a timetable to this, Jerry?
Yeah,
or-
I'll call George in the next day or so, and
Okay.
we'll set something up with Kevin and,
Okay.
the director or the town manager or, whoever, we all think should be involved with it.
Okay, okay. Okay, good. Item 3, Kevin. I guess in
So-
the past, have we had a Zoom meeting kind of, I guess, to,
Typically, we do. So the referendum is next Tuesday. If the budgets both pass, then by charter, you have 2 days to adopt the mill rate. If they don't, then there's not really a specific window, but typically within the first couple of days, you would revisit and resubmit a budget. I mean, it could be the exact same budget, but you would submit a
Yep.
budget
Mhm.
back to the council for recommendation for the second referendum. So what I wasn't sure you wanted to do, I didn't know if you wanted a meeting on the 26th or if you want to wait, because we're obviously not going to know the results until late the 25th. It'll be later in the night or first thing in the morning on the 26th. So I didn't know if you wanted to wait and do something maybe the 27th. So at least you had a day to hear what the results are and think
Yeah.
about the response. If it passes, that's an easier meeting.
Yep.
And then I wasn't sure if you want to do it by Zoom or if you want to do it in person.
okay. Well, I'll leave it up to everybody's opinion, but I don't have a problem with Zoom. And do we want to give it 2 days instead of 1 day, or what's everybody's feeling?
I'm out of here on the 28th. I have to go to
Okay.
Arizona for a memorial service for
Okay.
5 days. I'm not back to the 3rd of May.
So, I mean, it's either 26th or 27th. So any preference by anybody?
Either,
Yeah, like George, what's your preference, George?
Either one works for me, 26th or 27th.
All right.
Good on either one too.
Yeah, I'm good with either one.
Okay, why don't we say the 27th then?
You want to do Zoom 7 PM, same time or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will notice the meeting.
Okay. Your update, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that things are progressing well. Revenues are coming in well as compared to this point prior year. They're coming in well against budget. We continue to do really well with interest in particular. Stiff, while very highly rated, is also yielding substantial interest. We are still north of 4.8%, which has been very good. We are starting to expend money much faster, as you can imagine, with many of the projects that were anticipated starting. For those of you who've been around the Lion Billard area, you're seeing the sidewalk improvements from that project going on. Percival Field was awarded, so we'll start doing work on that. And they are looking on May 2nd to ask the council to award the bid for the HVAC at Willard, which is funded by ARPA. Bids are due on April 25th, so it would be a busy end of next week to kind of pull things together, but they're looking to start staging that even before school starts for things outside of the building so that they can get a jump very quickly on that when school starts. And then I'm sure all of you at some point have been around the area of Porter's Pass and have seen the road
Yes.
closed and all the signs. So there's an awful lot going on right now. And then you approved the transfer tonight, so thank you for that. So we can move forward, hopefully doing the Willard and Griswold fire alarms. Those are the last 2 schools to try to get those done this summer. So interest is strong. We've tried to maintain a strong balance, and that's been able to yield some positive results there. We continue to see an uptick in the projected surplus. The chief was successful in bringing in another new officer this month, so that's encouraging. There's still a substantial gap, but we are seeing some success there. And then that's it, unless there's any questions for the update.
VNA, do we have any numbers for VNA this? Yeah, do
I'm sorry,
we have any update on the VNA numbers this month?
I still didn't get that. I'm sorry.
Do we have any update on the VNA numbers for this month?
Revenue.
Yeah.
Well, through March, revenue was a little down from prior year, but we did have, we basically do our deposits twice a month. So the first half of the month for what comes through the bank, and then the second half. First half of this month was actually quite strong. We just did that deposit and it was strong. So we'll see how the second half continues, but the volume is starting to pick up a little bit. I mean, I can tell you the deposit for the first half of April was stronger than all of February. So that's a positive sign there. Cost containment continues to be an area of focus. But I think we're still looking in the $600,000 to $650,000 revenue range. We're probably going to end up roughly in the same area in terms of performance to the bottom line, maybe slightly better than last year. So I think the meeting with Jerry and George will be useful to get a little bit more than just the revenue and even the bottom line, and start to really look at different metrics. One of the challenges is as they meet with patients, let's say this month, it can be 60 days or longer, depending on cash flow, before we actually see that money come in. So getting metrics, not just the revenue and the bottom line, but also kind of leading indicators, I think will be useful.
Okay. Any other comments for Kevin? Okay, we're done. Have a motion to adjourn.
Don't move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Bye.
Aye, okay. Have a-
George,
have a Good night,
Yes.
guys.
don't hang up, George.
Okay.
I